Hey friends, this is going to be a pretty long video because I have tried to pull out all the times in the emails that Gypsy Rose mentioned Kansas City, and there are some interesting side trails in addition to a lot of mentions. And then I've also pulled out the way she talked about Kansas City in her two books so far to compare and contrast at the end. So yeah, it's going to be a long video, but we'll have a little palate cleanser at the end. So let's go, friends. This email was outbound from Gypsy on March 28th, 2019. I believe she was talking to the cookie lady. If you've seen the previous videos, you'll know the cookie lady was one of Rod's many paramours that he discussed with Gypsy behind Christie's back. So this is outbound from Gypsy, and it says, "Hey, smiley face, LOL. Yeah, my dad is a flirt, LOL. I'm so happy he's gonna bring the cookies, smiley face, and might get married with a small ceremony in here, maybe next July. Then have our big wedding when all our friends and family when I'm free, smiley face. For now, he is gonna be moving to Kansas City in order to be closer to me. Yes, I have told Dad that I don't like the media attention. He agrees with me that he and Blank are like totally just shying away from it. Blank can do with that all on her own because we are moving forward. I wish she would see it does me more harm than good, but Dad and Blank seem to be on the same page with all, declining all interviews and TV stuff. My main focus is to build a bond with him because I know he feels bad for not knowing, but that's not his fault." As far as I know, that is the first mention of her wanting Ken to move to Kansas City to be closer to her. Then here on March 20th, 2019, we have an email that I believe is to Ken. Let's see what this has got to say. "My soulmate and dream husband, I lay in bed wishing that we're embraced in your arms right now, holding me so close that I could feel your heartbeat match the rhythm of my own. The last few days I have felt so alone, a feeling I'm reluctant to share when on the phone with you because in that moment of hearing your voice, I'm content. But when the phone meets the hook and your voice is faded from my ears, I am lonely once more and wait and count the hours until I feel the happiness that my soul gives me, and I am once again comforted by the love that I can feel from your heart to mine. I wish this distance didn't exist, honey. We've been together for long enough to know that this love is real in real life. We are engaged, planning a life together. I'm completely committed to this relationship. Darling, I've kept my desire to have you live near me inside, even masking as something I was against. But the truth is, I want you as close to me as possible. My love, come to Kansas City where I'm only an hour away, baby. We could have visits every weekend if we wanted. So many dates at Cafe de Chillicothe. You could work bartending at the Power and Light District. I know the pay is less, however, once you graduate, you could work in any establishment in downtown KC. I feel like an idiot saying all of this to you. Ultimately, this is all just wishful thinking, and the reality is this relationship is long distance and will be for a long time, but that doesn't kill the possibilities in my heart and mind that it could be different. I feel selfish when I try to say this to you because you know that I have asked a lot from you lately. You are doing your best to be here for me and giving this relationship everything you have, and it is enough for me. I am happy and content with our visits every 3 months and our date nights. Most of your days off work are spent on me, and believe we are in a great place, but I do have times of hopeless dreaming of what it could be like if you lived in Kansas City. It doesn't have to be right now, but maybe it would be nice to strongly consider for maybe next year after we are married, if that is something you would want. The most irritating thing to me is how indecisive and unsure you are. When I say come, you want to stay. When I want you to stay, you want to come. Though by the time we actually figure it all out, I'll be coming home, so maybe long distance is how this is going to stay. Either way, I love you no matter the time or distance between us." Next, we're on April 5th, 2019, and we have an email here outbound from Gypsy. I'm not sure exactly who it's to, but it says, "That is correct. Hulu does not have my permission or my life rights to my story. My dad is looking into possibly suing. My feelings about blank are complex. However, he wrote me recently and I sent a closure letter apologizing for this whole tragedy. However, it's best we go our separate ways. I am now engaged to a wonderful man. Met my current after he watched my documentary Mommy, Dead, and Dearest in May of 2017 and decided to send me a letter of support. I wrote back and we became friends. Then he became my best friend. We just built a natural connection, and in September of 2017, he came to visit me from Seattle, and in the first 30 minutes just got overwhelmed by his feelings and kissed me out of the blue. And that kiss got us both in trouble with the visitation staff, as inmates are allowed a brief hug and kiss. However, our kiss was a long make-out style. LOL. So the visit was terminated due to not following the rules, and he was suspended from visiting me for 6 months. Needless to say, we kept in consistent contact and made it official. We have been together ever since. And now he knows when he comes to visit me, a peck and not a full-on porno, LOL. In October of last year, he proposed in the visiting room, and I said yes. We have made the recent decision that it is best for our relationship if he moves to Kansas City to be closer to me. That will be a huge leap forward for us as well. He does treat me amazing. He is my rock and my biggest blessing, giving me strength, understanding, support, and love. He really is my soulmate, and I'm so happy we found each other, even in my circumstance. My future plans include traveling. I want to see the Northern Lights someday. I want children at least, and have thought of Aurora Rose for a girl. Middle name is Rayleigh, so Rayleigh for a boy. And I want to advocate for children that have been abused, particularly from parents with Munchausen. My family all live in Louisiana, but I will probably stay in Kansas City for the time that I'm on parole, then maybe move to Austin, Texas, where Ken's family lives. My interests are more geeky. I love poetry, European culture, cosplay, sci-fi movies. I'm a big Star Wars and Harry Potter fan. I'm a total fangirl, LOL. I love animals. I'm both a dog and cat person. Dream job. Anything with animals or kids. I find it interesting that in her outbound emails to Kian, she's clearly trying to convince him to come to Kansas City, but in her outbound emails to other people, she's telling them, we have made the recent decision for him to move to Kansas City to be closer to me. Now, something that we have mentioned before is there doesn't appear to be a lot inbound from Kian. And most of what is usually him either like gushing over GYPSY or acting very weird. He seems really up and down with his moods. But anyway, so we're still in April of 2019. We started in March of 2019, and she was, trying to convince Ken to move to Kansas City. Now we're at April 12th, 2019, and this is outbound to someone, I'm not sure who, but it says, I'll be home planning to Kansas City during my parole, then probably move to Texas, smiley face. My dad lives in Louisiana, so I'll be not too far away from my family. Blank is moving to KC to be closer while I'm in prison. Please send me your address again so I can send you some pics. So yeah, I found that interesting that, she'd apparently only been talking to Ken about this a couple of weeks, and she's already telling people that it is definitely happening. Now, we know that her and Kian broke up in 2019, so there's not a lot of mention of home planning to Kansas City after that. However, take a look at this. On August 2nd, 2020, GYPSY is watching Love After Lockup, apparently, and she says, outbound. So the new season of Love After Lockup started, and we have a couple from Missouri, a guy from NCC Bowling Green, Missouri, the one locked up, and a chick from Kansas City on the outside. On a side note, forgot how wild my hair can be in the morning. Wake up with it in my own mouth, LOL. Look like I've been tossed in and down, if you get my drift, LOL. While there's nothing super significant in that email, I just thought it was interesting in the context of this video to point out how focused she always is on Missouri, and Kansas City particularly. On September 24th, 2020, I believe she mentions it again, outbound. She says, yes, you can look them up and know what they are in there for and what they look like, because I know I talk about them so much. I'm sure you are curious to put a face to a name. On Facebook, President, Kansas City, Missouri, to fall asleep tonight, baby. I keep wishing you were right here next to me. Hashtag rubbing your back. Hashtag loving on your neck. Hashtag caressing your body. Hashtag going all in. Hashtag deeply moved. Hashtag explosion of emotions. Hashtag target practice. Hashtag score 100 points. Hashtag multiple times. Hashtag snugly sleeping. Hashtag wake up and repeat. Hashtag Gypsy Rose and Muffin. Based on those names, I'm pretty sure that was to Ryan. And I don't know. I don't think she was talking about love after lockup anymore there. I think she was actually telling Ryan that he can look up her roommates, maybe, and the people that she talks about. I'm not sure. What do y'all think? The next mention of Kansas City was on February 24th, 2021, and I thought this was interesting because it indicates that Gypsy has friends in Kansas City, and maybe that was part of her reasoning of wanting to home plan there so bad. So on February 24th, 2021, outbound, Gypsy says, "So in addition to visiting me, what other parts of America are you wanting to see while here? In Missouri, it is mostly farmland. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, to see in this particular area I am located in. If I were you, I would do some research online to figure out what is most affordable for you to do afterwards. You will have to fly into Kansas City, Missouri Airport, KCI, and rent a car. Chillicothe is about an hour and a half drive from the airport. There are fairly affordable hotels in the area. I would suggest staying at the Motel 8, located about 15 minutes from the prison, for about 3 nights because those are the times of normal visitation hours." And then she goes through the visitation hours and then says, "Blank actually lives in Kansas City, Missouri. Maybe while you are in the area, you both can meet each other as well." Smiley face. I really wonder who that is too. It just doesn't seem like it would be Ryan. Seems like it's somebody who lives out of the country because she says, "What other parts of America are you wanting to see while here?" Just thought that was interesting to note. The next mention, I assume, is to maybe Melissa Moore or somebody who has something to do with her projects. It's March 24th, 2021, outbound, and says, "The time frame between late 2005 to 2007, I was being seen at St. John's Mercy Hospital in Springfield, Missouri. Dr. Robert Steele was my pediatric doctor, and then sometime in 2008, Mother had chosen doctors from Kansas City, Children's Mercy Hospital. There is no way I was not seen on a constant basis. In 2007, I believe, is when the surgery on my neck to remove my salivary glands." That one sentence to me is extremely interesting. There is no way I was not seen on a constant basis. Who is she trying to convince? What is she trying to dispute? Are they saying that they're not finding in the records that she was seen very much? I just really wonder what's going on there. What do y'all think? Have y'all done any research that would answer this? And seemingly continuing along that same train of thought, on December 14th, 2021, outbound from Gypsy, we have a list of hospitals. Here's the list from Gypsy's recollection. Children's Hospital, New Orleans, Louisiana, 1991 through 2005. Tulane Medical Center, New Orleans, Louisiana, roughly 1996 through 2005. Ochsner Hospital, New Orleans, 95 through 2005. Charity Hospital, New Orleans, Louisiana, 1991 through ? Didn't go there much. Slidell Memorial Hospital, Slidell, Louisiana, 2003-2005. St. John's Mercy Hospital, Springfield, Missouri, 2006 through 2015. Mercy Health Center, Springfield, Missouri, 2012 through 2015. Seen multiple times in the ER, she puts. List of remembered doctors seen. Dr. Robert Beckerman, Pulmonology Department at Children's Mercy Hospital, Kansas City. Dr. Robert Steele, Pediatric Specialist at St. John's Mercy Hospital, Springfield, Missouri. Dr. Juan Baptiste Lepichon, not 100% sure the correct spelling of his name, it is French. Neurology Department at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. Dr. Ori, Dermatology Department at Children's Mercy Hospital, Kansas City. Dr. Alphin, Ear, Nose, and Throat Specialist at St. John's Mercy Hospital, Springfield, Missouri. And then she makes a note, he did the surgical procedure on my neck to remove my salivary glands. Dr. Grau, Dental Department at Children's Mercy Hospital, Kansas City, Missouri, noted she did the surgical procedure to remove and cap my teeth. Dr. Flasterstein, unsure of the correct spelling of his name, neurology department at St. John's Mercy Hospital, Springfield, Missouri, believed seen in 2007. And I'm breaking in to make a note here that he is the one who supposedly made the note in the medical record that he suspected Dee Dee and that she was not a good historian. And back to the email, she says, Dr. Wisdom, ear, nose, and throat specialist at Tulane Medical Center, New Orleans, roughly around 2004. Dr. Dixix, really unsure of the correct spelling of her name, pediatric specialist at Slidell Memorial Hospital, seen in 2004. Dr. Susan Healy, primary care doctor at Mercy Hospital in Strafford, Missouri, 2014-15. Was also seen at Children's Mercy Hospital cardiology and asthma allergy departments, but can't remember those doctors. So there's some of those that I'm not sure if their names were out there before, but we've been wondering who all treated GYPSY and when they would come out. So here we are. You would think and hope that some of these doctors would come out and defend themselves and show why they did the procedures that they did. And I think that would be very educational for all of us because we keep finding more and more confirmed conditions for GYPSY Rose. So, yeah. There's a second email that went out the same day that's not related to Kansas City, but I thought it was interesting here. It says, I'm starting to realize that though I do have a wide variety of men that I could be exposed to when I am released, Blank really is a good man. He is standing by me through a lot. In the last year and a half, we have been through me being on quarantine twice. Once when my wing was on quarantine, and then again when I had COVID back in July, me going to the hole for 2 weeks, him getting fired for being in a relationship with me, and now me being placed on 6-month visiting suspension, and in the mix of all that, dealing with my emotional ups and downs of everyday life. The hurdles that keep being thrown at us seem to make our relationship stronger because each time we are faced with a lack of opportunity, we are reminded how much we enjoy our connection and it makes us appreciate each other more. I think that the wall I put up for so long is coming down and I'm allowing myself to love him. One of the sessions of our recent weekend visit went to a visit without makeup and I didn't wear my dentures, let him see my flaws. I had finally felt comfortable enough to be that vulnerable with anyone. Never show my flaws and be accepted. I felt like last weekend's visit really made me see that we have something that I never before had, which is a healthy relationship built with love and trust. And to be honest, after this past weekend, I'm really not thinking about wanting to explore other guys at this time. I felt connected with that a few weeks ago, but I'm feeling differently about it now, like we have more clarity of what I want going forward. So again, there was nothing super groundbreaking in that email. I just found it really interesting the way she lies to herself about her relationships. Now we are up to January 27th, 2022. This is outbound from GYPSY. I'm not sure exactly to who, but it says, I think the only people I know for sure who will be there for my release, my parents with the film crew, and if you would like to come, you are welcome as well. Smiley. I feel that day will consist of us going out to eat, filming for the documentary, and socializing a bit. The blank and will probably stay a night in Chillicothe or Kansas City before driving back to Louisiana. I get released on a Thursday, drive back on Friday, and we'll be going for a hair appointment to get my hair done on Saturday, and we are spending New Year's Eve in New Orleans. So it is a pretty packed weekend for the first few days out. I probably will not have to see my parole officer until after the holiday, which just gives me a chance to relax and enjoy myself. The film crew wants to follow along on my trip to New Orleans. I don't mind. But come the end of the night, they gotta go. We need some alone time, LOL. I just hope I can give everyone a fair amount of time with me when first getting out. I don't want anyone to feel pushed aside or like they are not getting my attention. I had plans for Blank to be here for my release, but with how she has been acting lately, I don't see that to happen. It will be an exciting day and, to a point, exhausting day. I think I'll be emotional. There was a lot of emotions when first, and then it cuts off. This next one is October 11th, 2022, and I believe that it is to Ryan. Outbound from GYPSY. It says, hey there, Cuddle Muffin. Well, today most of my emails went out. I didn't get yours from last night, nor did you get mine from last night. Well, I guess we just have to expect a delay. Today didn't do much of anything. It was a lazy day. I got your mom's email. It was very sweet. Oh, by the way, deleted Liz and Eric from my visiting list today. I also asked them to switch you from significant other to spouse. I might try and work on plans for the weekend of my release. How far is Kansas City from the cabin? Depending on how far, maybe we can make a day trip to Kansas City for New Year's Eve, or maybe just spend it cuddling in bed. Smiley face. I'm not going to lie. Thinking about you heading back to work makes me a little uneasy. There is no reason why Ms. Homewrecker needs to be in your personal life. That bitch doesn't even know me or us to tell you anything. I am married to you and I'm your wife. Who the fuck is she but your insignificant coworker all of 2 months? Yes, I am threatened by her. Anyway, I know kids go back to school tomorrow, so I hope you have an easy week. Don't let them get to you, okay? Be safe, darling. I love you. Your wifey. On this day, October 12th, 2022, GYPSY had a lot of emotions going on. We got an outbound and 2 inbound that are interesting. So let's check out here. Outbound, she says, can you please let everyone know that despite my earlier email since having a visit, Blank and I are not getting an annulment. We had a disagreement after a failure to communicate that snowballed out of control. Ultimately, we realized that arguments are going to happen, but we actually came out stronger because of it. We had some really good heart-to-heart moments last weekend on our visits. He had triggered a trauma response in me, and I overreacted. I should not have thrown out the option of divorce so easy, and that was something that Own was not responsible in a marriage. I don't know what that meant. Her writing is so hard to read sometimes. Anyway, then it says, even after 2 years, we are still learning each other and what causes conflict and what we have to do to overcome it. And he and I have gone through past experiences that can be difficult, but we love each other enough to work it out. Hear that there is buzz amongst the groups, and you're welcome to share this. Oh my God. And then inbound same day, it says, it was not me. Hey girl, I'm sorry people are disrespecting you guys' privacy. Promise I will not post anything that I do not have your permission to post. Do you think it might be somehow in a new friend group? I know need to vent sometimes, but unfortunately people aren't always so trustworthy. I'll let you know if I see anything. Also, this dog's name is Gypsy and the words are totally scrambled there. But anyway. Next, we've got inbound, and I think this is from Ryan, because it says, daily email, hey, my gorgeous snuggles. Well, I did go back to work this morning, and let me just say that really enjoyed the fall break and getting to love on you during it. It was nice not having students there today, but it was strange also. My coworkers gave me a hard time over my trip. They put their nose in my busy, and I had to cut their noses off. Started speaking on things that didn't concern them. Shut that shit down. Mrs. Gaspard got drunk during the lunch break, and also she was cray-cray. I was uncomfortable, but nothing to worry about, of course. And don't be threatened by Homewrecker Holmes because she couldn't wreck our home even if she had a bulldozer. Kansas City is probably about 2 hours away from the cabin. I would be up for a day trip. Would be up for anything as long as your beautiful self is in the passenger seat, baby. Or we could definitely stay snuggled up in the cabin eating gumbo also. God, I miss you. Blank called me today, and when I heard your ringtone, my ears perked up. Imagine my disappointment when realized it wasn't my wife. We did talk for about 25 minutes. She asked me about our visit. She even heard from Tony. Well, sort of. His niece emailed her saying could call him anytime according to his niece, but yet when called, there was no answer. Still holds out hope, though. Too much hope regarding him, but it's her life. I did like your spray tan during the visit. Our pictures with the fireworks background is probably my favorites at the moment, except for our wedding photos. You are drop dead gorgeous. I did that with Cinder, the other wedding photos also. Also loved your email about keeping your private life private. It was adorable how you mentioned my surprise visit. Just know, Gypsy Rose, I'm thinking about you. Love you. Hope you're missing me as much as I'm missing you. Can't wait to hear your voice again. You. Bleh. So now we're getting into 2023, and I tried my best, but at this point it became hard to keep things in the right date order because there are a lot more mentions of Kansas City. So anyway, it starts out on March 27th, 2023, outbound. Hello, Mr. Anderson. This is Mrs. Anderson, and want to let my hubby know how proud I am that you got our little place all ready for us. You have grown in ways you may not be aware of, but I have taken notice. I used to be worried that a life with me would be more than you could handle, but you are doing amazing. I'm starting to see you as an alpha male, and it is really attractive. Smiley face. I love you. XOXOXO. Outbound. Hello. Smiley. Outbound. Hello, thank you for writing me, Smiley. Thank you for the support. 9 more months until Freedom Day. Outbound. Yes, December 28th at around 9 a.m. is when Blank will pick me up, and around 11 a.m., subject to change, is when we are going to meet up for lunch. Outbound. Got a question. I am looking for a woman. She and I had met before I got arrested, and she actually visited me in here before we lost touch, and was wondering if you could help look for her, maybe on TikTok or Facebook. Her name she goes by is Blank. Either she was living in the Kansas City area and now don't know anymore, but she is a photographer and inspiring actress. She's in her late 30s, early 40s, black hair, fair skin, kind of has a Katy Perry look to her. Would appreciate any help looking for her. Thanks. And I just thought that was kind of interesting that she's randomly trying to look up some woman that she knew, because other than Taylor Swift and girls that the men she's interested in have dated in the past, I've not seen her being that obsessive over women. What about y'all? Anyone have any ideas who that is? Then on June 20th and 21st and 22nd of 2023, we've got an interesting group of inbounds and outbounds here. Inbound on June 20th. Contracts. Ooh, this is so exciting. Is excited or not so much? I can't believe we're already talking about figuring out a second season and we don't even know when the first season is airing. Ha! And then 6/21, 2023, outbound. Hi, thanks for talking today, smiley face. I think we can easily come up with story arcs or at least things that would be fun to film. My question is, I wonder if when it comes to the surgical procedures like my teeth, will I be allowed recovery time? Because I know that I'm far too vain to film without my dentures. I'm just being real, lol. We will continue to adjust our ideas and talk about where we see the finale going. It kind of depends on how long of a span of time will production be. Like you and I have spoke about before, ultimately we do want to start a family, so that could be a good wrap up. And of course, I'm sure whoever our showrunner will be can help with joining the creative brain. By the way, I spoke and she said she is appealing her case and has a level of caution up with doing interviews. Hope all is going well with you and your endeavors and all positive. Smiley. I found that wording there from GYPSY to be very, very interesting. I think we can come up easily with story arcs. I wonder. What do y'all think? Then we have another one outbound from GYPSY, and I'm not sure what it means, but it says, is this something he should ask for right away? Then inbound to GYPSY. Good morning, my beautiful wife and love of my life. Was bummed I didn't hear your calls last night. You know I would have loved to hear your voice. Always do. Outbound from GYPSY. Happy birthday, sweetie. Love you. XOXOXO. And then outbound from GYPSY on the 22nd, the next day. Life has been kind of busy. Blank spoke to his lawyer for a contract yesterday, and the lawyer wants to mirror my deal so that he gets the same or dang near close to as much as I was paid or will be paid for the new episodes, which nothing is set in stone yet. But we know we on our side letting us know what are some of the things to specify that we want built into the contract. As for married life, things are still very good. We have been praying together, which we both needed to be doing all along, but we have come to be closer with God than we used to be. I know we will need help and strength to see us through the adjustment period of living together and being filmed on top of our already high stress situation. But we have come so far in our first year. I'm hoping we stay this happy or gain more happiness. Then the same day, outbound from GYPSY. Hey Dad, have a favor, question. I get out on December 28th and while in Missouri for the weekend, would really like to go to the Chiefs versus Bengals game on December 31st in Kansas City. I want pretty okay seats and want to purchase as early as we can. Would you feel comfortable Venmoing money from my account to Ryan to purchase the tickets? Love you, hugs. Now, the name was blanked out there, but obviously it's Ryan, so I just said Ryan. Then outbound on the same day. Blank looked online, and the tickets or seats we want will cost $600 each, so $1,200 total. It's seats together in the 17th row. It's a high demand because Chiefs and Bengals are rivals. Outbound from GYPSY, same day. Hey, Blank let me know he texted you. I don't think he's realized yet y'all had not spoken on the phone yet. The call with and the lawyer went good. told us we need to start coming up with things we want to do to fill the 10 hours. I saw there is a Chiefs versus Bengals game in KC on December 31st, so email my dad to ask if he would be comfortable the money in my account to purchase our tickets early. Our seats would cost $600, but hey, it would, and then it cuts off. Outbound from GYPSY, same day. Sorry about that. I've been busy with my book co-writer. I'm writing my life story and have the help of a New York Times best-selling author to help me. This takes so much of my time. Inbound from GYPSY. Not fair. It's not fair that you got to go back to bed, especially without me when I had to get up for work. At least you got to hear your beautiful voice this morning, but much rather have woken up with a kiss from you soon enough, though. Outbound from GYPSY, same day. Hope you're having a good day. I'm sure you're busy with a new project. Things are going good. Talked with his lawyer. After an engagement letter is drawn up, he can start working on the contract. I'm excited to be getting closer. Also saw that on December 31st, there will be an NFL Chiefs versus Bengals football game. We are thinking of going, smiley face. Not 100% sure yet, but it would be cool to go. Hope you're well. The last email on this page is inbound, same day, 6/22/2023, and appears, I'm guessing, to be maybe from Melissa Moore. It says, contracts, football, and more. Hey, lady, exciting, and his lawyer are making some headway. Very cool. Tell you what, December is going to be here before you know it. I can see it in my mind's eye. You walking out of prison into the arms and some of the other people you love most. It puts a big smile on my face. A football game would be so fun. New Year's Eve with a stadium full of people would be quite the party. Are you on to Chiefs or Bengals fan? Or is it just that they are playing in KC and you're considering going? Keep me posted. The new gig is keeping me busy. The schedule is pretty tight. There never seems to be enough time in the world of television. I was on a call last night with my new boss when you called. Sorry I missed your call. You have a birthday coming up soon. Is Blank coming for a visit still, right? Then here on December 22nd, 2023, we have Inbound to GYPSY, and this is a breakdown on what all they plan to do had Missouri parole officers not told GYPSY to get the fuck out the state. It says, shoot one, day-by-day breakdown. Hey, GYPSY, here's the plan for our first shoot, going from Chillicothe to Kansas City to Lake Charles to New York. I know this is a ton of info. If it feels overwhelming, just know to go through the plan in person each day filming. I just wanted you to have the big picture all in one place. I have the team working on alternative restaurants for Kansas City and hope to have updates for you on that when I see you on Tuesday. Give me a call if you have questions about any of this. Also, do you have an email address you'd like me to use going forward? If so, I'll send a copy of this to your email too. GYPSY Shoot Breakdown day by day, December 26th through January 5th. Tuesday, 12/26, sit-down interview at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution. Wednesday, 12/27, decorating, prep, and conversations at the Airbnb, and husband, morning, early afternoon, drives to Chillicothe. Plus, last phone call from GYPSY in prison, afternoon, evening. Room at Fairfield Inn and Suites, Thursday, 12/28, GYPSY is released. Picks her up at stopover at Fairfield Hotel in Chillicothe to rest, depending on timing. Stopping by Walmart for supplies. We won't be able to clear Walmart, but we will have a crew with you from picking up all the way to the Airbnb. And we could film the drive to Kansas City from Chillicothe. Release day party at Airbnb, end of night at Airbnb, Friday 12/29, first morning together at Airbnb, 11 a.m., spa day at Salon. Now there's more to this. They had plans in Kansas City for a few days after that, but those are in another email that we'll get to. Now this next one in the searchable document had an inbound and an outbound mixed up together, so I've inserted a screenshot from the original document that, has it clear. So on this day, December 21st, 2023, someone wrote to GYPSY and said, "Hi, GYPSY. I didn't know I could send you messages until I saw a post of yours on Instagram, and I'm so happy that I'm able to reach out. I'm a Missouri local. I live and grew up in Kansas City. My heart broke when I heard your story in the news all those years ago. My grandma has Munchausen's by proxy, and I saw and lived through things no child should. I don't think you're bad at all. This life hands the sweetest people the worst deal of cards. I remember seeing you on TV and wanting to be your friend more than anything. Sorry the universe did these things to you. You're such a lovely girl. I'm so happy you're getting out soon. I'm going to celebrate just for you. If you need a friend right now, later, or ever, my name is blank." Now, Gypsy responds to her or to someone else, and I say or her or someone else because the outbound response is right after that, and it mentions the act as if she'd asked about it. So I don't know if there's another email from this person mixed up or if maybe this is to someone else. But either way, in 2023 here, December 2023, she tells a blatant lie. Gypsy says, blank, thanks for writing. No, I didn't have any participation for the act. They stole my story and didn't pay me anything for it. And unfortunately, there is nothing I can do about it. Y'all, we know that they set up a trust fund for her for $50,000 that she just didn't want anyone to know about. She wanted to continue her own narrative and lie. She continues on. However, I do have my own projects that I did have involvement in creating. My ebook title released, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, is available for pre-order now wherever ebooks are sold. Also, I have a new documentary called The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, airing January 5th on Lifetime Network. I would rather people watch and read my story from me rather than a fictionalized Hollywood version because documentaries are much more factual. And then she gives all of her social medias. So yeah, I found it really interesting that she just, in December, right before she got out, was still just straight up lying about the fact that she got money from the act. Now, this next one is also in December, and it doesn't mention Kansas City at all, but I just found it interesting to throw in, y'all. This is outbound from Gypsy, and the first thing is a smiley face. And then it says, do you still follow me on TikTok? My husband unfriended you on my Facebook. However, I do have another Facebook that is meant for people to follow rather than me add them as friends. I have it because with the mass interest people have about me, I decided to have two Facebooks, one so people can follow me and the other under my married name so strangers could not friend me. You are still welcome to follow my other Facebook. It is under Gypsy Rose Blanchard and it just has a picture of me with the background is Child Abuse Awareness ribbon and has the follow button option to follow me. Let me know if you can't find it. So I remember that page initially, I don't think people were totally sure whether or not that was really hers or not, but I think we can confirm now it was. There's some more interesting stuff in this group here on December 7th, 2023. There's an outbound from Gypsy at the top that says, thank you. I was pretty upset and cried all day when he said he was attracted to her, but he just meant she is pretty. And I was in a puddle thinking he didn't love me or want this marriage anymore. I was super hyper focused on it, probably made it more serious than it was. Just a misunderstanding. We are great now. LOL. I'm glad they will take care of you quickly. We're going to say a special prayer that morning that everything goes smoothly and it will be a breeze. Smiley face. And then there's inbound that same day. Hi, how exciting. The View is watched by so many people. Hope it opens many doors for you. We're getting ready for Christmas, but things are a little off this year. We'll miss my kids now that they are moved out and doing their own thing. My family doesn't like Tom. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, y'all. I started reading that one before I realized it's boring. Okay, on the same day, 12/7/2023, Gypsy says, what if instead of driving back to the Airbnb after and have dinner on the evening of the 29th, we get a hotel room in Kansas City? Because let's be real, we are going on this romantic dinner and then we have the whole family back at the Airbnb. And don't know about you, but if I'm going to get frisky, it ain't while my family is in the next room, LOL. So maybe we need to get another room far away. And then on the same day outbound, hotel room for the night of the 29th. Any of these are beautiful. Let us know which one can be filmed and we will book it. The Westin at Crown One East Persing Road, Kansas City. Wyandotte, Kansas City. 901 The Fountain. Oh, she spelled that wrong. The Fontaine, I'm not sure. The Ambassador Hotel, Autograph Collection by Marriott, Grand Boulevard. And then the same day outbound, Clearing Hotels. Thank you for the hotel suggestion and the price point info. We've reached out to a number of places today and we're hoping to have an update by the end of Tuesday. As soon as we have that locked down, I'll let you both know what the plan is so you can book your room. Still waiting to hear back from Blank. Also forgot to give you my social media handles to follow. Then she gives all her social media handles. Now, this next one I just found interesting. It's same day inbound just because it's interesting what she will put up with from people who she likes for some reason because she's clearly been emailing back and forth with this person. And they say, time after time, wow, didn't know you were releasing a new book. Honestly, can't wait to purchase it and support. I'm also incredibly happy to hear that you're married and that you and your husband will be traveling and experiencing cool events. I'm a Patriots fan, so screw the Chiefs, lol. Should be a lot of fun, though. Also, do not understand this obsession with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It's like the whole world has lost their damn minds. LOL. I grew up in New York, and my dad is a huge New York sports fan, rightfully so. Just to piss him off and get under his skin, would go out of my way and root for his rival. Well, New York's greatest sports rival is Boston, and it just sucks. Now exclusively root for Boston teams. I was married for 4 years, but we never made it to the magic 5th year, which they say is the key to a marriage surviving. A lot of differences we couldn't overcome, arguments, and never be on the same page. I'm a lot happier now that I'm not stressed, but even 6-7 months since the separation, it's still sad at times. No one gets married thinking they'll one day get divorced. Hope you found your one and true partner in your husband. This one is outbound from GYPSY. November 29th, 2023. Hi, so glad you wrote back. Well, let's just say I have a lot going on. LOL, so where to begin? Last year I got married. My husband is a teacher and lives in Louisiana as well. We have an apartment together in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I just finished writing my ebook, which will be titled Released and be published and available in January. I'm working on my memoir that will be published next year as well. I filmed for a new documentary 6-part series about my life in prison that will air on Lifetime Network January 5th, 6th, and 7th called The Prison Confessions of GYPSY Rose Blanchard. And also, I'm going to be filming a post-release follow-up series about my life with my husband post me being released. The first week out, we are staying in Kansas City and going to an NFL Chiefs game on New Year's Eve, then headed to NYC to spend 5 days in New York because I'll be on Good Morning America to promote my book and series. And I come home here where the crew will film our life for 3 months. Then I am going to be so busy. But anyways, how are you? Where are you living now? I tried finding you on Facebook, but didn't know where you are now. What is your phone number so we can FaceTime when I get out? Now, this email we've covered before in some of the Taylor Swift and TMZ stuff, but here we've got GYPSY saying, I would like to be quoted on these particular questions as to why I'm a Taylor Swift fan because it has deep and personal meaning. So if you want to write in the story that you asked me to confirm I am a Swiftie and why, I have no problem with being directly quoted on this because that has nothing to do with my NDA. Or if you plan to create a different story on this topic alone, that is fine too. I first became a fan of Taylor when she started her career in country music and followed her journey as an artist ever since. Aside from her music, think as a person, she seems like a pretty kick-ass chick who is showing the world the true meaning of girl power. My father sends me a monthly allowance for commissary items, and I spent the whole month's allowance on buying every Taylor Swift album. So I purchased every original album, plus every album of the re-released Taylor's version. My playlist is literally almost all Taylor Swift. LOL. Taylor and I are around the same age, and through the years, I've aged with her. Just as she has had her eras, I have had mine, and her music saw me through some of the best and worst times of my life. Her song, Open, which talks about keeping your eyes focused on what you want in life, is especially encouraging when I was going through the abuse suffered, and while in prison, it kept me motivated toward the freedom that would one day come. Cool little fact, according to IMDb, actress Joey King, who played me in 2019, Hulu's The Act, starred in Taylor's music videos for the songs Mean and I Can See You, Taylor's version. Yes, I do watch NFL football during the regular season. My facility has a Super Bowl extravaganza party and every year held in our gym. I am actually both a Kansas City Chiefs and a New Orleans Saints fan because I grew up half my life in Louisiana and the other half in Missouri, so they are both my home teams. But now I am favoring one over the other for obvious reasons. A friend just read me your article and it was great. And then here again, we have more emails between GYPSY and TMZ about Kansas City and about Taylor Swift. Here outbound on October 27th, 2023, she says, Hi, okay, as a source close to GYPSY, these are things my friends would actually say about me, and I feel weird typing it, LOL. GYPSY is excited and looking forward to having true freedom for the first time in her life. She has a devoted support system in her family who have stood by her throughout her incarcerations. GYPSY's family and and friends have every faith that Gypsy will be able to thrive outside of prison and one day be an impactful advocate for both mental health awareness and Munchausen syndrome by proxy awareness. One thing about Gypsy is that for as much as she has been through, she is incredibly well adapted and self-aware. Gypsy has matured and come into womanhood in her own time. Her attitude and level of dedication to better herself through multiple group mental health therapy sessions spanning 8 years has prepared Gypsy for her transition back into society and is the primary reason that she has been granted parole. Gypsy's voice goes beyond that of her own story, but I believe she has potential to reach a vast audience who can relate to her in many ways, and she will touch many lives going forward. Note, unfortunately, I can't give any more than that for the source. Also, this is not public knowledge, and we don't plan to make it public due to safety concerns until afterward. But my husband and I bought tickets to a Kansas City Chiefs game that will be on December 31st. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, so hoping that maybe I'll see her there. I plan on giving her a shout out on Instagram and Twitter when I am at the game, and I'm hoping she sees it. It's a long shot, but I'm a loyal Swiftie, and meeting her would be the best start to my new year. Anyways, I would appreciate you using the source so I am not in breach of my NDA. Smiley. And there's another one here outbound the same day that I'm not sure to who it's to, but it says, "Hi, I used to live in Slidell from 2003 to 2005. My mother and I lived in the Section 8 low-income housing by the animal shelter. When Katrina hit hard, our apartment flooded and we lost everything. I'm moving to Lake Charles with my husband." Smiley, thank you for reaching out. Then inbound the same day. "We lost everything in Slidell after Katrina, too. I live by that animal shelter also. I actually only live like 2 hours from Lake Charles. We had quite a bit in common about how and where we grew up. You're going to love Lake Charles. It's actually pretty. I haven't been there since Hurricane Ida, but it looks so nice. The little beach there looked like its own personal paradise." And then this one, I believe, is from Ryan, obviously, inbound. It says, "Thinking of you. Hey, my beautiful brunette princess. Woke up thinking about you and everything that happened yesterday. Honestly, I just want us to have a great marriage, healthy children, happiness, and most of all, each other. You are what is most important in my heart. The sad part is, called to tell you how you are husband, but could not get those nice things out and instead had word vomit of the things that annoy me." That's so weird. Anyway. There are a few things I found of interest here on this set of emails from October 2023. There's one here that is outbound from Gypsy, October 25th, 2023, that says, "Hey there, how was nail salon day? Hope things are getting better for you and your hubby. Please don't stress on it. Y'all have a romantic love story of finding each other, losing each other, and finding y'all way back to each other. It's like a Hallmark movie, but every couple has arguments. I'm excited. We still have a good number of episodes to film for. I'm sure as time moves closer, interest will ramp up. Smiley face. Talk soon, Gypsy." I found that interesting. I wonder who she was talking to who's having marital problems and could be worried about the interest in the show. Melissa Moore, maybe? I don't know. Don't know. Anyway, outbound from Gypsy on the same day. Subject line is "the show and health insurance." "Hey Dad, spoke in the network, said they will have us do 6 to 8 episodes, 1 week of filming per episode. We will also have a new showrunner. It won't be blank anymore. It will most likely be a woman named Leanne. Here's a list of things blank and I would like to do my first 3 months after release. I sent this originally for reference, but wanted to send it to you to keep you in the loop. Smile. Kansas City, Missouri, Chiefs game. My family. Visit my parents in Cutoff, LA for the weekend. Learn to drive. Follow my therapy sessions. New teeth consultation with dentist. Stay at Myrtle's Plantation Haunted Bed and Breakfast located in St. Francisville, New Orleans, LA. Mardi Gras. Adopt a puppy, make a wish donation, meet with a representative of the foundation, Southern Stone indoor climbing, Lafayette, Louisiana, vacation for spring break during March 29th to one of the following: Orlando, Florida, Washington, D.C., or Aspen, Colorado. She got big dreams there, y'all. And then there was one outbound from Gypsy that says, "New Orleans trip, February 10th, 14th, fun things to do. Cafe Du Monde, Cat's Meow Karaoke Bar on Bourbon, Aquarium of New Orleans, Pat O'Brien's Restaurant, parades, Crew of Bacchus, Crew of Orpheus, emotional things to do, going back to the Ronald McDonald's house and going back to the Children's Hospital. I found that interesting because this was late 2023 when she said this, and we all remember how she reacted to Ryan on the show whenever he says, "Why don't we go to New Orleans like we planned?" She was like, what can I even do in New Orleans? I can't drink." Here on September 13th and 14th, 2023, we have several outbounds from GYPSY saying, "Talk to my parole officer today." And clearly this is her Louisiana parole officer. Smiley face, talked to him about a lot of things, including the filming for the docuseries. It went great. Our Kansas City weekend trip before returning to Louisiana is all good. I'll have to report to my parole officer on January 3rd. My parole officer said that I can go on day trips within the state without needed permission to visit my parents. I can go on vacation with advance permission. I can, on occasion, go on business trips to promote the documentary book, and as long as I'm receiving compensation for my work in filming and the book, he will accept that as employment. Smiley face. And then there's a whole bunch. It looks like she emailed a version of that to 2 or 3 different people. And then I think maybe we've got emails to Ryan here, same day. She says, "I'm sorry I was mad. Wasn't going to send that email until you hung up on me. You suck at communication. Fine, I'll take the weekend to myself. You'll be with your cousin anyway. You can't get mad at me for talking crazy to you when I have been since the beginning. You set the tone years ago. You can't come back now with, 'I don't appreciate being talked to like that.' You never had any balls to keep me in check, so you don't get my respect now. It's your own fault for being like that." Then, outbound from GYPSY same day. "Baby, I'm sorry about last night. I was in my head. Blank emailed me and had to get my written consent for you to get checks under your name. And I put under February 1st because it will take time to get my new ID and go get my name on account, etc. I love you." And then at the very end, it says inbound, "Kansas trip. That's good that the trip is cleared. Yeah, we're staying busy. Heading to Mississippi camp now to do a little pre-hunting work. Gumbo sounds good. I can cook it. I'll make the tater salad. Can't wait to see you too, baby. Please give me a call here before I have to work on the 27th. Love you." Now, I put this one in here because I think it's interesting to show the dates. All of these emails, inbound and outbound, were September 8th, 2023 and September 9th, 2023. And you'll see at the top and the bottom are some of the $50 goddess emails. And then in the midst of that is an outbound. "Great, I'll know too. They will be excited to meet you as well. I'll let you know more details as it gets closer. This is a rough run through of our plans. Keep in mind a film crew will be filming all this too. December, Dad, drive up to Missouri. Takes roughly 13 hours. December, Dad gets settled in an Airbnb in Kansas City. December 28th, will pick up me from prison and we will drive to Kansas City to rendezvous with everyone. December 29th, me and the gals go into a salon to get all pretty and the men will do whatever men do, lol. And then later, blank is taking me for a private date on the town in Kansas City. December 30th, my parents leave to go back home and I will stay at the Airbnb for some much needed alone time. December, and blank and I will be going to the Chiefs football game." So yeah, I just thought it was interesting to show that it was literally at the time when her and Ryan were planning this football game and stuff together right up till she got out, when the goddess emails for $50 a week was going on. Here in this group of August 2023, there are a few goddess emails mixed in. There's an outbound from GYPSY saying, "Just found out my favorite singer, Taylor Swift," and then it's cut off. And then there's one inbound that's very interesting. It says, "Did you get this? Did you just get this? And would that possibly mean we won't be able to do the Kansas City thing? If not, I get it. I'm just curious to know how they can make things difficult sometimes, but you're better off to play their game. Then after that, you can do pretty much whatever. Make sure the network knows how serious this is if you get travel denial." So that's interesting. That indicates that as of August 2023, there was some kind of indication that there could be a problem with the Kansas City trip. Then outbound from GYPSY, same day, she says, "Yes, I sent that email to blank so she can tell the network how important my conditions are, and if my parole officer directs me to report the following day after release, then all our KC plans have to be scrapped." Then here in June 2023, we've got outbound from GYPSY saying, Blank is a fan of Joe Burrow, who is the Bengals quarterback, and I'm a fan of the Chiefs. They are my Missouri team, but both his and my home state favorite team is the New Orleans Saints. The Bengals and Chiefs are longtime rivals, so it'll be a great game. Last night, we were looking up the best hair salons in Kansas City. My parents will leave to go back to Louisiana the day after I get released, but Blank and I will most likely stay in Missouri for the weekend and make a day trip to KC so I can get my hair done. And we'll probably go to eat somewhere, and then I can't read the rest. It cuts off there. But yeah, just continuing to show like she really wanted that time in Kansas City. I did a search for Kansas City and Chiefs in both of her books, and I thought this was interesting. In the first page of her first book, it says, I decided that the first thing I want to do with my freedom is write my story. Okay, well, it's not the first thing. I actually plan to embrace my family and then celebrate New Year's Eve at the Chiefs versus Bengals game. Priorities, right? Y'all, I did live in Missouri after all, but I swear after Mahomes finished the job, I'll be so focused on finding my words. Then, surprisingly, a lot of the other mentions of Kansas City in the book sound like something that would be traumatic. This page starts out with 1 month before the murder, my mother tried to cut my throat. At least that's how I saw it. And then she describes it all and then says that she said with a whimper, there's nothing wrong with my voice, outside the hospital, downtown Kansas City. So I just thought that was interesting. It sounded like a lot of traumatic things happen in Kansas City for her if we are to believe her stories here, as you'll see as we continue on. This one here starts out particularly interesting as well. While sometimes I believe we stole because she wanted to get me things that we simply couldn't afford. Interesting. I also think she experienced a thrill from the satisfaction of knowing we pulled one over. I remember my mother stealing a wheelchair from the Children's Hospital in Kansas City. I just had surgery on my lazy eye, a condition I actually had, and she wheeled me right out of the building and into our van. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Here we have an admission from GYPSY that she does think sometimes Dee Dee did the dishonest things she did just to get GYPSY things she wanted that she couldn't afford. And also, once again, admitting that the lazy eye and the eye surgeries are real and that the surgeries were needed. This one here made me wonder if these medical records are available and out there because I'm curious exactly what these people were doing with GYPSY if these weren't real conditions, wink, wink, because Mercy Children's Hospital in Kansas City is known as being pretty reputable. It says, when it was time for our 2-hour, 45-minute drive from Springfield to Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City to see my neurologist, cardiologist, pulmonologist, and allergist, my mother found help from charities that reimburse families for their gas money. So, yeah, I'm just really, really curious what they were doing with GYPSY if she didn't have the conditions. Now, in this one, she talks about staying at the Hope Lodge in Kansas City and talking to Dan the whole time she was there and realizing that she was 18 and Dan telling her you don't have to stay with her and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if any of that is true, there should be no need for the murder and anyone who believes what she's saying here. I'm just saying, what do y'all think? Now here she describes her mom catching her talking to Dan and then physically abusing her as they drive around the Kansas City streets. So again, you'd think that Kansas City and all of this would be maybe a horribly traumatic trauma trigger because, we've seen her go off in the shows anytime anyone says a phrase or whatever that she can construe as a trauma trigger. So yeah, we've seen her just beg and beg and beg and try to get every way in the world to home plan to Kansas City. And now we're hearing her describe what a traumatic place it was. I just find that really interesting. In this one, GYPSY is mad because she is claiming addiction and apparently was denied that and is describing her withdrawal symptoms she says that she had and being upset that no one saw them and how she missed different people. And one of the people was a person they became good friends with at the Hope Lodge in Kansas City. Here she's talking about her and Ryan's magical love and how even though Kansas City Chiefs were her team, she could learn to love the Saints too. Now, I think we might be to the My Time to Stand screenshots now and out of released. But anyway, Gypsy says, when Ryan told me the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the New Orleans Saints on New Year's Eve, I was psyched. This was a sign. The two cities I had grown up in playing on such a special night. It wasn't just a sign, it was symbolic. My dad had bought us tickets for seats in the 6th row. Ryan ordered me a bunch of Chiefs swag, including a pom-pom ski hat, while he coordinated his own over-the-top Saints garb. The plan was to have our first New Year's kiss at the game. Now, this one doesn't mention Kansas City, but it shows Gypsy playing poor me again over a situation she created. It says December 28, 2023. Typically, when inmates are released, they change into clothes given to them in their dress-out box. Some people file out into a bus and it takes them to a bus station. Others are picked up by someone they know. I was the exception to the rule. Since news of my parole broke, along with announcements of a docuseries Lifetime was filming, the media's interest in my release was intense. I found that funny because we know from the emails now that she leaked that information to TMZ. Gypsy continues being pitiful here. She's like, I was supposed to spend 4 days with my family at the Airbnb. People had driven from all over the country to greet me and celebrate. It was to be a bonding period and also a regrouping. Ryan and I would then go to a football game and then head home to our new apartment the next day. You know what they say about making plans. Ryan's caller ID was explicit. It was my parole officer calling. He had terrible news. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office, which oversees Kansas City, wanted her out of the state immediately. Wait, what? What about what we've been planning? What about the party? You have till 3 o'clock to leave, but it's already 1, Ryan said. Mike Stanfield received me with open arms. My defender, even now, and firmly said, tell me what they said. Oh, God, y'all. Anyway, I know Gypsy's Louisiana parole officer really dropped the ball, but the Missouri parole officers did exactly what Missouri wanted them to do. Get her ass the fuck out the state. Gypsy says, the PO then blindsided us with more bad news. Once I left Missouri, the transfer of authority to Louisiana couldn't happen until the offices reopened January 3rd. She needs to be on lockdown in her apartment until she sees her PO in Louisiana, the PO said. That's 7 days, I cried. What about going to my mother's house for a dinner she's been planning? Ryan asked, as if the PO was in a bargaining mood. That's hilarious to me. With all the money that Lifetime is about to lose and all the plans about to go down the drain, all he can think about is a dinner at his mama's that didn't cost no money. Yeah, I mean, it cost the mama, but y'all know what I mean, comparative to their box seats and all that. Absolutely nowhere. She cannot leave the house for any reason at all except to meet her parole officers. I love that. I love that. Good for them. Gypsy says, I heard in my mind, Gypsy will never be free. I let self-pity take over. You stupid idiot. You thought you'd just get out, be married, open presents, and eat cake, gorge yourself on Dad's gumbo, and have a sisterly sleepover with Mia. Ring in a new year, a new life. Fucking moron. Dumb. So dumb. Yeah, I agree. Dumb. And Gypsy gets so dramatic here. She says, it was as if Chillicothe had let me out only to boomerang me back. Freedom was an illusion. My decisions on how to spend my holiday were not mine. A dose of humility and reality knocked me over. I was back to not speaking for myself. Other people were speaking on my behalf, referring to me as she and her. Did I even matter? While my 40-plus guests had side conversations about what Mike was accomplishing on the phone, I was catapulted back to volunteer way. I was confined in a wheelchair. I was back in the closet at Daddy Claus, in the alleyway with my mother tied to the bedpost, running away and being dragged back. The Airbnb was the shed. It was the scalpel that traced my throat. It was the hole. I just wanted out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll be good. The sheriff's office explained to Mike that I posed a security risk. This made me shamefully aware of what people really thought of me. If only she had retained that awareness, y'all, she might not have so many problems. Y'all, this next part's hilarious. Listen to this. I'd been here before. I don't mean in a car with a husband on a 13-hour road trip. I'd been detained and contained before. Nothing I had experienced in my entire life made any sense, like my mother's abuse, the doctor's negligence, suicide watch, the explanation for my rapid departure from Kansas City was vague, a security risk. Getting in the car with Ryan the next morning, per our orders, I felt like an explanation mattered. Y'all, the explanation is no matter how she chooses to identify herself, she is a convicted murderer. Matricider, one of the worst, heinous kinds. Then here in this next screenshot, she starts doing something she's really notorious for, and that is preaching. She decides to count her blessings and says, suddenly, an explanation for kicking me out of Kansas City didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. What matters was that God had decided that I needed to go home. Now, not next week. Every time something terrible happened or I was blindsided, disappointed, or disregarded, something good always came from it. I had to remember to trust, just trust that I was where I was supposed to be in that very moment. It was God, y'all. It was God. It wasn't the parole officer. It wasn't that Kansas City just said, get the fuck out because you're a murderer and you're stalking Taylor Swift. No, y'all, it was God specifically helping Gypsy. Here she continues more of that. She says, God didn't want me ringing in a new year and a new life with 70,000 strangers. He wanted me back where he always intended me to be, home. My mother had taken me out of Louisiana almost 20 years before. The explanations are vague, mere guesses. She had taken me from my father and my family and replaced the void in my heart with lies and hurt. She had taken me away from my Cajun culture, far away from what made me me. She had taken so much from me. I had taken so much from her. But here I was, back where it all began, the bayou. That day, Dad and Christy rushed to the front door carrying bags and bags of groceries. It was the kind of intrusion only close family has the right to do, and I loved it. It was the beginning of my first holiday with family, the way I'd always imagined a family being. Now, this is in the epilogue where Gypsy is trying to explain why, after all that gushing, she's divorced from Ryan and pregnant with Kian's baby. And she's like, in just 6 months, I've publicly gone from newlywed to divorcee, from Missourian to Louisianan. I got to cut in there. You were never a Missourian girl. You were nothing but a parasite on the state, always and forever. From brunette to blonde, from inmate to reality star. Whatever, infamous. From uneducated to published author twice. You're still uneducated. That was ghostwriters. Y'all, in the past 6 months, I've also managed to make a lifetime of mistakes, be called a gazillion names, and sneak in some necessary smart decisions. What are those? Do y'all know what on earth her smart decisions were? Yeah, anyway, I was free for the first time, playing catch up with technology and current events. I was a fawn lifting herself up on wobbly legs. It took me a minute to find my footing. Well, at least she wasn't talking about a freaking caged bluebird again. Anyway, we're going to go out with a little palate cleanser of Coolio and Biggie, and I hope you all have a good day.